Welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two
Crazy
crazy
Ketos.
ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos. We do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics. And every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way, every single time it's on the eve of a meetup, you'll be alerted to it.
So we are in Orlando. Sorry, the lighting stinks.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible.
And I was out on the dive boat this morning. I came back. I could have sworn I had an extra light packed, and no, I don't. Or it's in the car, and I don't feel like looking for it.
So we have, I almost wish you could see the nonsense going on around us. It's just lamps as far as the eye can see.
I take off the shades. So we're going to have a little different. I got my iPad right here so I can read comments. So yeah, we tomorrow we're going to Universal Studios, and then we're having a meetup at 6:30 at Bodacious BBQ. If you're in Fort Lauderdale, or not in Fort, if you're in Florida, and you want to have some barbecue either tomorrow night or Saturday night, we're going to be at Bodacious BBQ at 6:30 p.m. We got some goodie bags from different companies that sent us some stuff.
Yes. And I've shouted out a lot of the companies. I mean, so many amazing companies that I believe when you contribute to goodie bags at meetups and conferences, it is out of a love for the keto community, right? I mean, that's just it. They're getting nothing in return, and they're just trying to help provide some fun for the meetup, for a convention. And I'm so appreciative to all of the companies that have contributed to the goodie bags that we're going to be giving away during this meetup. But I just received one final thing that I put into the goodie bag.
I'm excited about this one.
And it is a giant bag for each person of Noosh pancake mix. Yeah. We absolutely love
it. It's a
Noosh.
new pancake mix. It's like a protein mix.
It's not. No, it's not. Actually, we're going to be reviewing that.
Oh, we're reviewing that.
But they're going to be getting the original, and there's 3 different ones.
It's really good.
One is original, one is chocolate chip, and one is blueberry. So I just put one in each bag. And that was actually fun. The little assembly line in my living room with Tabitha supervising, putting those together. But we're just so appreciative to all the companies that have contributed to that. We're looking forward to hanging out with everybody tomorrow. If you're going to actually Universal with us,
which is not required,
make sure you're wearing some rain gear, because I think the forecast is calling for rain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that stinks.
So make sure and layer up, because weirdly, Florida is a little bit cold this weekend.
Yeah. I'm freezing. But that's because I spent the whole morning diving.
Right, underwater. But I get cold as soon as you dip below 70. But Bodacious BBQ has actually promised us that they're going to be having some heaters on the patio.
Y'all heard that, right? Dip below 70, which means I can turn the AC back up to 75 degrees. Because she gets cold.
But here's the thing. I don't walk around with a snuggly blanket. You have a snuggly blanket at home. How many people out there like cozy? How many people like cold but bundled up? So you have the combination.
Nice. Well, if you're new here, welcome to our Thursday live streams. Our Thursday live streams are pretty much ask us anything within reason. We will pretty much talk about anything. We try to focus obviously on keto. Ask your keto questions, your carnivore questions. Many people in our group are in the middle of beef, butter, bacon, egg. The focus of this month and this year is Fight Club.
We fighting for our life, yo.
For our life. And this month we're saying give up one thing, sacrifice one thing that's part of your regular diet. It's not really a challenge. It's let's figure out, is there something that maybe is controlling you a little bit too much that could be impeding your journey? So for 30 days, try not having that one thing. For us, it's heavy
whipping cream. It's tough. I miss it. I'm not going to lie, but I'm glad that we're eliminating this. One thing we do not eliminate though, year round, community.
That's right.
Community is key. That's why we're here in Orlando, for an opportunity to meet up with people who live in our personal local area. I'm like super excited about that, but definitely get involved in our Mighty Networks, get involved in our Facebook family group. Like, don't do this alone. If you're starting keto, maybe you're new here, we're so thankful for you. We're excited for your health progress this year, but we really think that the best key to success is getting involved in community. If you do it in isolation, nobody notices when you walk out, right? I was looking at somebody today that was talking about how the gyms were really busy like the first 2 days of January.
By the end of the week, empty.
Why? Because there's a very low buy-in. It's easy to walk in anonymity, walk out in anonymity. So make yourself a part of the keto community, not just on our channel. Like, there's lots of other, you know,
do it on our channel.
I mean, obviously do it on our channel, but like, there's a lot of keto people out there. So
when you do it on our channel, you get to watch videos where Rachel talks about food that looks like poop.
I'm sorry. There is no way to describe the most recent recipe that we put out today, except for it looks like number 2 on a stick.
It looks good though. It tastes good though.
It tastes good.
So anyway, if you have something you really want to make sure that we see, you can use the super chat function. That's the $ button that is in the chat. It highlights our screen and it also helps the channel. And we greatly appreciate you for using the super chat function. Also, make sure if you really want to help support us, you can join our Mighty Networks community. There is a link down below. There's a free option as well as some paid things if you want to help support us. I saw Chris wanted to know.
Hey, Chris.
So now I lost it because this thing is scrolling too fast. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
4.
I couldn't tell you that, but I can tell you this.
4. When
you were descending on a 55-foot reef and you jump in the water with a brand new Insta360 V3 clipped to your BC, but you undid the clip right before you jumped in the water.
Guess what happens?
You will hit the bottom long before that camera that is inside of a dive case. I learned that today because I jumped in the water with it running. And then I wasn't using my BC. I was using my friend's because he's trying to convince me that I really want this BC because it's got a steel plate and nothing wraps around you.
He didn't make the case though when you lost a camera.
No, it's actually an awesome BC. It is absolutely amazing. But I was trying to move things around right before I jumped in the water and I thought I clipped it all the way and I didn't. And then when I got down, I'm descending and our friend Hugh actually had to stay on the boat for a little while because he was having a problem. So he was like, I'll meet you guys in the bottom. So we're like, okay. And I'm going down and I'm like, let me grab the camera and camera's missing. I'm like, so now we're sitting in the bottom and I'm looking around and don't see it. And we go on our dive. I'm like, okay, I got insurance. I guess I just lost my brand new camera.
I'm going to have a tough conversation with Rachel.
The tougher conversation was explaining to Rachel that there's no footage. That was the really hard conversation.
You know me, I want footage.
And we dive for about an hour and 10 minutes. We're swimming around. Giant green moray. My friend catches a lobster about this big with his bare hands, no tickle stick, no nothing.
Wow.
Lots of lionfish. Awesome. Come back up. The captain goes, anybody lose anything? And I'm like, I did. And he was like, what'd you lose? I'm like, a camera. He's like, what kind of camera? I'm like, Insta360. He's like, somebody found it.
On the bottom of the ocean. Is God good or what? And oh my goodness.
Of course, I brought it home because it was running. And the footage is really cool.
It's hilarious.
It's going to be in a vlog. You see as it's going down, and it's a 360 camera, so you can just see it dropping down.
And you see fish approaching it.
Approaching it.
What are you?
And then you see this dive instructor come up, pick it up, and find it.
God bless that man.
I owe him like a case of beer.
I was going to say, we are absolutely buying him dinner. That is definitely happening.
Okay. Evelyn said that we need to switch places. We're on the wrong side.
Okay.
No, don't. We're not.
I was going to do it.
I know. Ursula said, I have days where I cannot stop being hungry no matter what I eat. Any suggestions? Eat.
Don't try to argue with it. Don't try to white knuckle. If you have a day where you're
hungry, eat. And then if you have a day where you're not hungry, don't eat. Yeah. I wasn't hungry at all yesterday. I can't stop eating today. And I haven't even eaten that much. Like in between dives, I have them over there actually. I was eating my jalapeno cheddar sticks that I made. I brought a pack of look at this. I'm bringing meat.
This is how we're packing for things now.
The guy, everybody else on the boat, they're eating potato chips and Oreo cookies, and I'm eating meat sticks and keto bricks.
Right.
I've eaten a keto brick. I ate a whole package of those meat sticks. I ate one of our cheeseburger rollers. Like, I'm just
those things are
hungry
flying out the door. Caleb actually took 4 of those to work today. But that's the thing. In the past, we thought every day needed to be the same, and it needed to be as little amount of fuel as humanly possible. Like, you should be white knuckling it. It should be like 1,200 calories. Like, and every day should be the same. But in reality, our hunger does have to do with like our exertion and, you know, our fuel expenditures and like what we're doing. And so some days you will be very, very hungry, and some days you won't.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and eat, and you're eating the right food. That's the difference, right? Because we confused ourselves in the past when we were hungry and we were like, we're going to eat a bunch of stuff. We were eating things like Doritos chips that have no shut-off valve.
Right.
But if you are leading with meat, like good fatty meat, you will hit a wall.
That's right.
That you are like, I am not confused, I am full.
So unfortunately, I'm just going to warn you, we may miss comments because the way the iPad works, it just keeps scrolling them.
Yeah.
It only lets me get so far, and then I can't pause it from scrolling.
Right.
So there was a really good question. Somebody asked, do you have any knowledge? Let's start off with this. We are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. We are 2 average people who lost over 100 pounds apiece on the keto way of eating, and we have maintained it for 5 and 6 years. And I am a certified primal master health coach, but everything we talk about is based on our own personal experience and things we've learned from people who are doctors, nurses, and health professionals.
Super important.
So with that being said, Sandy wants to know, do you have any knowledge on how keto or carnivore affects someone with only 1 kidney? Recent surgery, asking for a friend who fears too much protein will harm her remaining kidney. Actually, that is not really true. But as I said, I am not a doctor, but we have a very good friend named Dr. Ken Berry, and he has several videos on the impact of eating protein on with your kidneys, and that it does not hurt your kidneys. But I want you to go search him, have your friend watch all his videos. He's got great videos on that. Also, you don't need to eat tremendously high protein on keto. We always recommend a good place to be is around 100 grams of protein to start. That's what everybody needs. That is not a high protein diet.
Yeah.
Keto is not a super high protein diet. Should be eating at least 100 grams of protein. Probably minimum is about 80. And then you're adjusting your fat from there, keeping your fat at least 1-to-1 and probably closer to 2-to-1. Jerry's here.
Hi, Jerry.
He said, I love barbecue. Who knows down the road it would not be what these great folks do, as I have no energy to maintain that. Posting food and barbecue is not too much. Yeah, Jerry's putting all kinds of stuff up on his barbecue with his
amazing
smoker.
And I'll tell you the reason why we picked the Bodacious BBQ place that we did in Orlando is
meat by the pound.
Meat by the pound. Definitely. If you're doing triple B&E, if you are celebrating a World Carnivore Month, if you are just getting started on keto and you're looking for places that make keto easy, find meat by the pound barbecue places. We knew going in that everybody would be able to find something at this restaurant. And also shop around, utilize Yelp, because then you can find things that are inexpensive. Because the other thing that I really liked about this barbecue joint was it was reasonably priced. You know, you don't want to get in there and be like, okay, well, I want chicken or I want some beef and it's going to be $30 a pound, right? Like that's, you know, cost prohibitive. So I was really excited about the price point of this restaurant as well as what they had to offer.
Evelyn says you are looking skinny and younger.
Oh, thank you. Bless your heart. I am really enjoying the vitality that keto has provided. It has been really a tool, a health tool truly for my life. And I feel that every single year that we are on keto, I feel stronger. I feel better. And I know that I am fueled for activity. There's something that you learn very quickly when you start keto is you're like, you have a lot of energy you wake up earlier. It's almost annoying. I remember when my mom started, she was like super annoyed because she was like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I just can't lay in the bed anymore. What am I going to do with all this energy? And I'm like, move.
Yeah.
Let's use it. Right.
Shirley said, I watched the burger on a stick video. It was hilarious. You should have seen the outtakes.
I could not help it, y'all.
15 minutes before we actually started doing it, and Rachel's just like, all of these jokes came out of her mouth. I'm like, I gotta delete all of this stuff because I had turned the camera on.
I had to send a message to our children to be like, I want y'all to like hold your head up high and be like, my parents like
I don't know them.
Have these amazing recipes. These are just like, these are prestigious recipes right here. And I'm like, I know that there are people who make amazing, beautiful culinary art recipes.
We make gas station food.
And here is us making a gas station food recipe. But the kids were gracious and were like, you know what? But that's what we eat.
Yeah.
We can't be like putting on airs, right? Because that's us.
John said, Joe, did you watch the video I sent you in Messenger with the crab rangoon? I did not. So here's it. If you send it on Facebook Messenger, I will probably never see it.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody, but to let everybody know, we don't check or use Facebook Messenger. So if you send us a message on Facebook
it
Messenger,
gets lost.
We may see it in 3 months.
Yeah.
When we accidentally hit the Messenger button
Be
on
like,
our Facebook app.
Man.
If you want to send us something, the best way to do it is to send it to our emails. We both have our own Two Crazy Ketos email. You can send it to joe@twocrazyketos.com or rachel@twocrazyketos.com, or you can send it to twocrazyketos@gmail.com. Or if you really feel adventurous, you can send us a message on Instant Messenger within Instagram, which I never check. Rachel does that. And honestly, the absolute best way to message us if you want a quickest response, because emails get buried,
Mighty Networks
is in Mighty Networks, which again, Mighty Networks is completely free. There's an instant messenger thing in there. It kind of reminds you of the old AOL chat. You can go join that. There's a link down below. All you got to do is go to members.twocrazyketos.com. Sometimes it may take me a day, depending on what our schedule is like. But that is the place where we never miss a message.
Right. Now, I am like super excited. Like the hardest thing for me, honestly,
scrolling too fast,
is to put out like our failures. Sometimes like when he was making that crab rangoon recipe and I'm like watching it before we release it and I'm like, it was such a hard fail. Should we show that? Because that's not really helpful. But I think it's important that you guys see our fails. It doesn't always work. There's nobody in the world that just has all their stuff together, right?
That's right.
Now, I will say the filling that you see him make is on point. So if you utilize the filling portion of that recipe, and then my idea is make our chicken skin crisps that we have a separate video for, and then just like scoop the crab rangoon with the chicken skins. It's going to work way better.
We got to move because this thing's scrolling too fast.
Okay.
Today's Joanna's birthday.
Joanna.
62 years.
Ooh, I don't believe it because you look like
That's
super.
What she says.
Yeah, I think 50.
Ready?
All right.
Happy birthday to
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joanna. Happy birthday to you and many more.
I actually thought she was in her 40s.
So many more.
Yeah. Sherry said, I'm doing great. Today was the first day I haven't had a coughing spell. Sick day since December 16th this week. So glad to be over this. Thank you, Lisa.
I am so glad that you are over it, but I'm sorry that you got sick in the first place. I know Anthony DiPatrio also had like a cold and some sniffles, and I'm sorry.
Yep. Sonia. Oh, talking to Miriam.
Hey, Miriam.
Thank you, Miriam. How are you? Let's see.
Oh, thank you. My haircut is cute. I'm so really glad now that I saw like that older like New Year's Eve thing before I got my haircut. I was like, dude, I was looking rough, y'all. Like I was looking pretty rough. So I'm really thankful to get a haircut. And it actually inspired Caleb. He was like, I'm getting a haircut at 4:30 today because I got a haircut. Take it.
Andy said, I was giving up nuts to break my stall, but stress made me hungry. So I caved.
Okay.
That's okay.
It's not like that is not the end of the world. That is certainly not the worst thing that you could have grabbed. Like, I'm really proud of you for grabbing nuts. So next time you're like, okay, I'm just going to have some meat on the ready for the next time, because We are definitely going to be stressed out.
Right.
There are going to be times where we stay longer someplace than we had packed food for, right? So we have to kind of like, prepare. Like us, maybe you travel with a suitcase of bagged meat like Joe, just in preparation,
It's traveling around inside the Universal Studios
Never
tomorrow.
can be too like prepared.
Okay, Sherry said, for KetoCon, I found a roommate, but I have another lady who's looking for one. Is anyone still looking? Best thing to do, again, put a post up in our Mighty Networks group.
Yeah.
Or on our Facebook family group. But put a post up in there and say, hey, I need a roommate. Somebody else is looking for a roommate. I know people have found cruise partners for that.
Yes.
Also, KetoCon tickets are going to be going up again. So use our code 2crazyketos. We make zero money off of it, but it is a great way to get into the conference for $50 cheaper. Right now, I think you can get in for $150 for all 3 days. So we will be there. We are speaking and we're emceeing.
So excited.
Also, where else are we going to be? In just a month, I finally bought my plane tickets.
Okay, way to go. So it is actually happening.
I bought my plane tickets. We're headed off to Salt Lake to go to the meetup that's at Keto Chow headquarters. I do not know the dates because I'm horrible with that. I do know when I'm flying out. It's like Wednesday, the middle of the month, and it's whatever that Saturday is. So 16th, 17th, whatever it is. Chris is going to put it in the chat, I'm sure. Then right after that, we're in April. As soon as I come back, I'm missing the whole first week of lacrosse season because I'd rather be in Utah. Then we come back, we're home. It's lacrosse season. Then we've got KetoCon. Then we got the cruise.
The low-carb cruise.
Then we've got, after that, we've got the Hard to Kill Summit in
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yep. And then there's Orlando. And then who knows what happens after that. As of right now, Ketopalooza, we will be at Ketopalooza. We have a discount code for that. As of right now, we will be in Vegas. We'll see if Vegas actually happens.
We'll tell you when to buy tickets.
I love y'all, so I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
Don't buy tickets for Vegas until we tell you, like, hey, I think Vegas is going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to tell you there. Let's see. Keto in the Kingdom. Those two crazy ketos are traveling. I should have hopped on earlier.
We're so glad that you're here. Everybody, we understand that, like, it's Thursday night and there is so many places that you could hang out. And I'm so thankful that you're here. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us on Thursday nights. We love that.
Okay. It's scrolling so fast and I keep seeing good questions. Let's see. Barb, I just got my first order from Element. How many for a normal day? Most people, one a day is more than enough. Most people, one a day is honestly more enough. Now, if you are super active, if you're doing a lot of sweating, if you're outside, like maybe in someplace like South Florida, it gets really hot.
Sometimes I go 3 a day, to be honest.
You're noticing like, hey, I'm getting a bunch of cramps, headaches, things like that. Maybe try doing another one. So long as you're consuming water, that's one of the things I love about Element and Relight is that when you take it, you're consuming it with water. So you're giving yourself enough fluid. So if you overdo it, you're just going to pee it out. Possibly you may have a little bit of bathroom pyrotechnics because that's the number one place your body gets rid of excess sodium is not from sweating or peeing.
Poop.
It's from pooping.
Who knew?
Right. So that's the number one place. So the worst thing that's going to happen is your body's just going to flush it out unless you're not consuming enough fluids. But if you're drinking Element with your fluids, you're going to be fine. Just get rid of it. So now, like, for example, right now, I don't do nearly as many of electrolytes on a dive day because I'm in the ocean already.
Plenty of salt.
And I'm breathing dry air. So I need to make sure I'm taking in enough fluids and I don't need as many electrolytes. Let's see. Sonia, I fell off plan over New Year's weekend, just went off the rails. I know it was all emotional, mindless eating, but quickly got back on track.
Way to go. Because again, it's not about fallen down. It's about how many times you get back up. Do you know how many times I've fallen down over 46 years? Not just 2. We're talking thousands of times, decades of failure.
Yeah.
But I didn't stay there. We get back up. You're gonna be awesome.
Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Two Crazy Ketos and Chris, have you ever used your rectectomy beef jerky? I saw a video on TikTok where a person did. I love beef jerky, and I would love to see if I can replicate it and make it keto friendly. I have used my Rectech to make beef jerky. It's a little bit harder, at least where I live. Probably not so much for Chris, because we live in South Florida. You want to get that temperature for beef jerky somewhere around 155 to 165 degrees. I can't get my Rectech to go that low. The lowest I can get it is about 175 degrees. So you have to be really careful. So I end up using I have the excess smoker box on the outside. So I put it in there. I really like it in the dehydrator. So what I'll do is I'll actually start it in a Rectech to get some smoke flavor and then move it over to the dehydrator. You can also move it over to an oven at the lowest possible setting.
Because smoker is like an aphrodisiac. He wants to have everything smell like smoke.
It's a good way to get Rachel in bed.
Or a kiss. I was going to say
said it.
I was going to say a snuggle, Joe.
That's not what an aphrodisiac is good for.
Okay.
No, for me, beef jerky, 4 to 5 hours with that smoking, it can be overdone. That's Rachel for Rachel. That's just too much smoke flavor.
Much.
But like 1 to 2 hours and then finishing off in the oven, I find it really good. But again, if you are in a colder climate, you can probably accomplish those lower temperatures easier than I can.
There is a point where like I feel like it's too muxe smoke. Do you ever feel that, or is it just me? It's like at some point,
depends on the food.
It reminds me a little bit of the boys when they were in middle school and the Axe body spray.
Yeah.
They would, I was like, are you trying to like get a girlfriend by knocking them out? Like absolutely taking away all of their senses and having them pass out because of the level of Axe body spray that you're utilizing? That's how smoking, like the smoker can, too much.
Paulette said, I want to move in with you guys. That way I live with Rachel's great attitude and Joe's great cooking.
Well, come on down. We got room.
Annabella said, I've been eating heaps. I feel so good. I've been wanting to eat more. I'm finally getting some energy. It's about 7 weeks since my surgery for skin cancer.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad you're having like good success.
Let's see. Becca said her kidneys are actually improving on keto.
Way to go. I saw Evelyn said that she tried our chicken crust pizza.
She watched the video today.
So chicken crust pizza 2.0 is where it's at. Yo, that is the most freaking delicious pizza crust ever. Let me tell you, keto pizza crust, we've tried them all. Okay. We have made gajillions of different recipes, our recipes, other people's recipes. That chicken crust pizza 2.0 is my fave.
Juju, any thoughts on putting your smoker grill grates in the dishwasher? Good or a bad idea? I'm trying to streamline cleaning. Depends on grill grates. If you have stainless steel ones, perfect inside of your dishwasher if they fit. If not, you know what I do is you get a tub, like a big tote. You put a bunch of soap in there, like dishwasher soap, put some hot water in there, put them in there, let them sit there for a couple of hours, and then use a hose and it sprays right off.
Yeah. That sounds fancy, right?
Sabrina said, can you cook the ground beef rollers over a campfire or will they fall off into a fire? No, they're because they're going through that thing, it is like a sausage. It reminds me of the consistency of like, you ever get like the Johnsonville breakfast sausages, like that are not in a casing, just like,
but they're tight.
Yeah, it works great.
Which is good. And I think that that's going to be fun. In fact, like when we were making it, I was thinking about like future camping trips with Peyton and having like, on the fire, making their little hamburger dogs. I love it.
Sandy said, thank you, Joe and Rachel, for your answer. I always recommend Dr. B and your channel first.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Life Station Express said, I made my sister and I each a sweet blueberry chaffle with keto chow. She loved it, and so I sent her home with a chaffle maker.
What? Hello? I'm coming to your house. You mean you send guests home with presents? How awesome is that?
Anthony DiPetro, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Said, did you ever travel during beef, butter, bacon, and egg? Yes, lots of times.
Yeah.
Pretty much every conference we've been to in the fall has been during beef, butter, bacon, egg. Thoughts on coffee? I'm doing no sweetener, but I can't do black. No one wants to meet me without coffee. Is powdered butter and a blender bottle acceptable?
Yeah, that'll work great.
Just remember that butter powder for everybody, regardless of what the label says. Butter powder has carbs. Powdered butter calorie for calorie, actually has more carbs than heavy whipping cream.
It's so delicious.
And if you didn't know, all heavy whipping cream has carbs.
It's really good though.
But yeah, powdered butter, I have it in the house. It is hidden. Rachel has no idea where it is.
Anthony is not going to do what I do,
No.
which is I will take a spoon to the canister and eat it straight out of the canister. But then it is really perfect. It's a shelf-stable option.
Yeah, no, it is great.
Perfect for camping, perfect for RVing, really, really good. Good for travel. I love it.
Yeah, so what we do when we were traveling, we would just grab butter wherever and throw it in there. And the key is finding cleaner butter.
The hardest part, I remember the hardest place it was to find butter. That's why I like having butter powder, because butter powder, I just like saying it. But also, like, you kind of take for granted that you're never not going to have access to like a grocery store of butter. But I remember when we were in Las Vegas, we could find no store, and we wound up like walking forever.
I literally went to 7-Eleven and bought a stick of butter.
And bought a stick of, they sold a single stick of butter at the gas station. Apparently that's where we find all of our things, right? The gas station, like gas station rollers.
Okay, Sonia, I just started a kettlebell class with a friend who's a personal trainer.
What?
I am finding I'm less hungry, and I feel like I'm forcing myself to eat. Any suggestions?
Don't eat when you're not hungry.
Don't eat when you're not hungry, but you do need to eat. Especially if you're doing kettlebell, you're building muscle. You need to make sure you're getting your protein in. As far as fuel, up your fat. Fat. Anytime anybody is like not consuming enough fuel, I don't like calories. I don't like to use the term calories, because protein calories are not the same as fat calories. If you're not consuming enough fuel, increasing the amount that you eat is very easy by adding fat, because it's so calorically dense. And, you know, if you look at calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, as opposed to 1 gram of protein is only 4 calories, and your body doesn't use the protein for fuel. So you can easily, if you're looking at calories, increase your calories like by 180 with just a couple of tablespoons of butter.
Yeah.
You know, 2 tablespoons of butter, that's 200 calories.
Boom. Done.
Everybody can eat 2 tablespoons of butter in a day.
Please.
You know,
Pat, put it in your coffee.
So if every week, if you're trying to increase the amount of fuel you eat, let's say you want to go from 1,500 calories, where nobody should be, up to like maybe 1,900 or 2,000, every week add 1 more tablespoon of butter to your food for the day.
It's like you don't even notice it.
So you're not going to notice that. Everybody can eat 1 more tablespoon. That's an extra 100 calories every day of pure fat, of pure fuel for your body. And then next week, you're increasing 2. So now you're 200 calories more than you were 2 weeks ago.
Now, I highly recommend, we have done a lot of like dehydrated meat that you can do in your oven, making your own carnivore chips. Yeah. So we make the carnivore chips.
That's a pound of brisket.
This is a pound. So if I put a pound, like when we go to the barbecue place tomorrow, and if you were to order a pound of brisket, it's not going to be this tiny, not going to be this compact, because it still has the water in it, right? There's a volume to it. But once you put it in the oven and you cook it like we cook it, then it becomes much more doable. So for somebody who's like, it's hard for me to eat this, even my mom, it's very difficult for her to eat as much food as she wants, you know, protein wise, and she's trying to build muscle. She's in her 70s and she wants to stay strong. So she always is trying to get more protein in. And so she's like, this makes it possible. She is using this. She's like, now I find I will eat a bag of these, no problem in a day. It's no problem getting your protein and your fat in.
Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
Do you have a typical food day? Can you mention some of your favorite meals? We do what we do eat in a day vlogs all the time.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we just had one a couple of days ago. What do we eat on a regular basis? Eggs, bacon, lots of beef.
Yeah,
lots of beef. On average, we each eat over a pound of beef a day in addition to eggs and bacon. We love chicken wings. We keep it very simple.
I know. I wish we were cooler, but
simple is easy. So lots of burgers, steaks, that kind of stuff. Brisket.
Recently, we have gotten way into.
Can you grab that cord?
Sure.
Like unplug it from the charger.
This?
Unplug the cord from the charger.
Uh-huh.
And then plug it into that battery bank over there.
Right here?
Yep. any one of the holes that it fits in.
That's
There
what
you
she
go.
said.
And now the iPad isn't going to be dead.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
So recently we have started putting out a lot more like sausage videos, hamburger videos that have like stuff in them, and I think that that is where we're starting to find a little more like variety, like having, you know, making like, you know, chicken sausage and it's got like sun-dried tomato and some sort of a cheese in it, and we're adding flavor that way. But as far as like, you know, hamburgers, hot dogs, beef roasts, ribs, that sort of stuff, I know we're kind of probably boring. There's not a lot of like variety on our plate.
Even though I'm nowhere near, I just saw it down there. Mary was in. Does that pound of brisket have the same protein grams as the pound of roasted brisket? Yes.
Yeah.
So grab me that again, and the pork too. So here's the cool thing about dried meat, dehydrated meat, however you're cooking it. Okay. When you dehydrate your meat, you're losing the water. The weight of food, the weight of meat actually, is from three things: protein, fat, and water. That is what makes up the weight of your food. So if you look at a pound of ground beef, that is some water, actually a lot of water.
A lot of water. You
And
know how
then
that is.
You have protein and you have fat. When you
Shrinks
cook
down.
it, the water will go away. Depending on how you cook it, you will lose some fat. Now, if you cook it in, for example, a frying pan and then take all of the fat and pour it back over,
Which I have done,
you've got the same amount of fat except for the little droplets that may be stuck to the pan, but you got close to the same amount of fat.
and when it cools down, you can lick the pan.
But you always have the same amount of protein. You always have the same amount of protein.
That's good news.
So if, for example, and I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, you eat 80-20 ground beef, and let's say it's 100 grams of, it's not, but it's much less. But let's say it's 100 grams of protein and 100 grams of fat before you cook it. When you cook it, depending on, again, how you cook it, that you're probably going to be 100 grams of protein, about 85 grams of fat, but you still have the 100 grams of protein.
The protein
so that's
remains.
why we're saying if you do like our carnivore chips with brisket, steak, any kind of meat, if you start out with a pound, you end up with about 6 to 7 ounces of meat dried. So you literally cut it by anywhere between a half to 2/3. That's how much water you lose depending on the cut of meat. But you've got all of the protein and most of the fat in this.
And what I love is lately more and more, especially Costco,
There's
Sam's
pork.
Club, even I saw it even in Publix, they are starting to sell the shabu shabu beef where it's already sliced for you. So you don't even have to have a slicer. They have thinly sliced the meat perfectly so that all you're having to do is put it in your oven and cook, salt it, and put it in your oven.
Personally, I would like it a little bit thinner. I like to
Good
get
place
the right
to start,
consistency is like 1.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters. But again, if you can't, shabu shabu is the next best.
Absolutely.
But if you're buying a lot of, listen, I love Carnivore crisps and Carnivore snacks. I think they're great companies. We will still purchase their stuff.
Yeah.
However, if you are buying a lot of it, I would seriously consider investing between $100 to $200 in a good meat slicer. Find a place to shove it somewhere when you're not using it. What you do is you go get like 5 pounds of meat. You slice it all up at once, maybe once every couple weeks. It'll pay for itself in the first batch. When you consider the carnivore crisps and stuff is $40 for a 5-ounce bag.
Yeah.
So unless you only want to have the regeneratively farmed beef, which is nice.
It's very nice.
For the amount I'm eating it, I can't afford it.
I am enjoying it when we have it. In fact, tomorrow, thank you so much, Carnivore Crisps. They're actually providing the appetizers of meat for the meetup on both days. So like we're really appreciative for the variety of food that they have provided for our meetup, but I can't afford to eat it all the time because it is cost prohibitive.
Now we do have a discount code for Carnivore Crisps. It is 2 Crazy Ketos. There's a link down below. So if it is something you buy, please make sure you use that. Let them know that we sent you because again, they did send us a bunch of stuff, and anything that we have left over, we're going to give away.
Yeah, we are.
So we're going to be doing some giveaways with whatever is left over at the end of all of this. Annabella said, Thanks, Joe, for telling us about Dr. Barry having videos about kidney health. I'll look into it. It'll help me
Awesome.
with my doctor. I have a kidney CT on Wednesday. I know my body is healing.
Oh, that's good. I love that.
Jennifer said trying a barbecue place on Tuesday. It's called Big Hoffa's.
Ooh.
It's pirate themed, but they sell a pound and are supposedly the best in India.
Wow, that is so stinking awesome. Plus, I love themed restaurants. I love themed stuff. That's why I love amusement parks, right? Because they theme it out.
Susie, have you heard anything about stevia, monk fruit, or erythritol upsetting your gut biome or triggering leaky gut? I have not. Erythritol itself can cause some gastric distress.
Cooling effect on my tongue.
Most of the time, if you're buying monk fruit, most of the time it is blended with erythritol. Monk fruit is very much like sucralose, like pure sucralose.
Yeah.
It is a tiny
like
amount.
A grain
Same
of
thing
sand.
with powdered stevia. So
Yeah.
if you're buying liquid monk fruit or liquid stevia, it's been diluted in water or alcohol. Not if you're using granular. If you're using granular monk fruit, it's almost always a little bit of monk fruit with a lot of erythritol. There is a study, we talk about this all the time, with sucralose supposedly affecting your gut. However, to me, the study is very flawed. Number one, it's on rats, and we are not rats.
I'm not a rat.
Number two, the amount that they were feeding them is absolutely insane.
Not a proper ratio.
To give you an idea, I would have to consume 96 keto chows per day.
I mean, it would be delicious.
That amount of sucralose that they were giving those rats. There's lots of things that affect your gut microbiome. Like, for example, I don't eat a lot of vegetables. So guess what? When I do eat vegetables,
you know it.
I know it. I get some bloat. Why? Because I'm lacking that gut microbiome. And if I would just start eating a bunch of broccoli again, I would get it back.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things that affect it. It's not something that I seriously worry about. Dr. Barry's even talked about, he doesn't even do a lot of fermented vegetables and stuff. He's like, don't worry about it as much. Eat your meat.
I actually passed on broccoli this week, even though I kind of wanted it because I didn't want to take the chance on being farty for the meetup. So that's my gift to you and to everybody that's attending the meetup, that I did not broccoli this week so that I will not be offensive.
Yep. Let's see. Defense Wiz said, I didn't even know Instagram had Messenger. I found a message from a year ago the other day on ShareOut. So we still need to message him.
Yes.
Keto in the Kingdom. I love going thrifting this time of year and buying other people's purge.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you are so right. So, okay, we need to go thrift shopping together. First of all, pretty much all of my clothes are from a thrift store. In fact, I was so excited. I got a couple of pairs of jeans for the trip, and I paid $18 for 4 pairs of pants. So definitely leverage thrift stores. It is like a treasure hunt in there. As you are on keto, I will tell you, you will lose sizes before you lose pounds. And as you are losing weight, it can be very expensive if you completely replace your wardrobe every single time you're leveling down. So definitely leverage thrift stores. And yes, this is the perfect time because January, I cleaned out my closet finally for the first week of January. So people are donating all kinds of clothes and you can get some really good stuff. And a lot of them still have the tag on it because sometimes people donate Christmas presents they don't want.
Becca, Ninja Creamy question. I have xanthan gum and I seem to remember a keto chow ice cream recipe that used an additive like that, but I can't find the video. Was it xanthan gum or something else? We use Terragum.
Terragum.
So you can use Terragum. Guar gum also works. I think Terragum works the best.
It does.
Personally. I have not tried adding xanthan gum.
How
There's
much
already
do you put
xanthan,
in it?
a quarter of a teaspoon.
Quarter of a teaspoon.
There's xanthan gum. There's already some in keto chow. Let's see. Christina, I love watching you both. It's so nice to feel part of a community and have support from like-minded people. 10 days on the Lion diet.
Way to go.
Great.
Christina, that is fan-flippin-tastic. Way to go.
Donna said, so the land homesteader videos, freeze-dried jalapenos. Thought of you, Joe. They reconstituted them back into chili. I love freeze. I just eat them.
Yeah.
I freeze-dry them and eat them.
So, but we did chop up some you had made from Michelle had given us some from her garden, and we freeze dried them and actually chopped them up and then added them to, because we buy the dehydrated, like, or the jalapenos that have been like freeze dried, but the container is not cheap. So it was nice that we can kind of replenish that.
Franny said, your video about
Franny.
gas station meat rollers gave me a best idea to take for lunch at work.
Good. I'm so glad. And honestly, okay, here's my thing too. You really tapped into a situation that I've had a beef with keto for a while. And that is, I have done the lettuce burger thing and it just don't work sometimes. The
Right.
lettuce bun,
It doesn't work.
The only time that it has worked fantastically is the Utah burger. The Utah burger is worth a trip to Utah. Okay. I know in February we're going to be eating like a lot of Utah.
them.
Those are so good. But
cancel all dinner reservations, Chris. I just want to go there every day.
Utah burger. But the thing is that a lot of times I'm trying to make I'm trying to put a hot dog in something that just like it doesn't, or a hamburger in something that just doesn't fit.
Right.
And I think that having your like roller burger in this form elongated really is perfect for an egg life wrap. It's perfect for a lettuce. You know, it's just really good.
Robin said, Joe keeps saying he bought his tickets. What about Rachel's? That includes Rachel. We're one.
I was going to say, you're not going to leave me behind, are you?
Let's see. Someone wanted a Nicholas and Chrissy. Is the meetup tomorrow night only? No. Friday night. We're doing Friday night and Saturday night because we're here for the weekend anyway. So
yeah, 2 nights.
Both nights.
So that anybody
you can come to both if you want.
Yeah, you can.
But you need to let Chris know so that we can let the restaurant know.
Chris Miller is keeping track of like how many people we're expecting, just so that I make sure that I bring enough goodie bags for everybody and that, you know, we're all good. So it is Mighty Meetup 2023 at gmail.com. It's Mighty, and then Meetup is like MEATUP.
Grab those meat sticks. Julie said, do you guys make your own beef sticks?
We do.
It's in several vlogs. We'll probably do an actual video. So these are, which kind of these?
Chipotle
jalapeno cheddar sticks.
They're good.
And make them in the smoker. Basically, it's ground beef with some seasoning and a little, I do use nitrates. I use cure number 2. And then I put some cheese in them and I stick them in the smoker until you get an internal temperature of 160 degrees. And then I vacuum seal them. And this is shelf stable. And they're delicious. And you know how I know they're shelf stable? Because they have been on the shelf for a month. And I have eaten a packet a day for the last 3 days, and I have not gotten the runs, and I'm still alive. So that means they must be shelf stable.
I love it. Also, my mother has been eating them too. So like, and she would tell me of like, oh my goodness, Rachel.
Miriam said it's a lot easier to float in the ocean with all that salt.
It sure is. In fact, it was funny. So I was having trouble like, you know, sinking.
First time I took Rachel to the ocean, she couldn't submerge. She didn't have enough weight, but that's because you had an aluminum tank.
Yeah.
Now you're using steel tanks, and she needs 0 weight. Drops to the bottom.
So it's kind of funny. But when I couldn't sink, let me tell you, that was a victory day for me. When I was like, I'm just too tiny to sink, and he was like, okay, calm down. You have this certain tank on.
Brandy said, I'm super new to your channel, but Rachel, you are absolutely breathtaking gorgeous.
Oh, Brandy, okay, you've made my absolute day. Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it, because some people just hate my face. Like, we get emails that it's like, you need like facelifts and things. So thank you.
Christina, I'm excited to try the dehydrator sitting on my Ninja Foodie. How long does it take to dehydrate thinly sliced beef? So if you're trying to make like the carnivore snacks, our carnivore chips, about 4 to 5 hours at 167 degrees. If you slice it nice and thin, and then make sure you put salt on it, put it in there. In 4 to 5 hours, you have the most delicious carnivore
Sherry
chips.
has the best comment ever. She was like, good job like picking the room, because it's not the cheddar cheese color.
No.
Yes, we have had some hotel rooms that like have been the most crazy colors. Like, I think to myself, this doesn't feel like serene. I don't know who is decorating some of these hotel rooms, but because I think of like grays and blues, and like, what is a relaxing color to you? Because Sherry's right. We've had like a hot yellow mustard color before. That was terrible.
Joanna said, off topic, I just heard from a news source, Lisa Marie Presley died. Heart attack.
What? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's awful.
Juju said, Joe, I only have a few hours. Going to be 50 tomorrow for a few hours and then back down to the 30s. Got to get the outside stuff done.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry for her family. That's awful.
Let's see. Sabrina, now I'm going to have to buy another gadget for the camper. Hey,
one's
this
on
one at least is
$17.
plastic and it's $17.
Emmy's asking, hey, Emmy. Emmy's asking if we can mix pork with the hamburger to make the rollers.
Yeah. Any kind of meat.
In fact, that same little machine will work good with any of our like recipes where it's like whether you're going to make basically a bunless hot dog or skinless hot dog, or you're going to do like a sausage that's no skin, but like you just use our like chicken recipe where we put like the feta cheese and stuff in it. That same thing will work. I will say that I would go ahead and pop for the skewers.
They're not that expensive.
I liked it on a stick.
KJ, help.
Hi.
Just did my first lab since starting keto. My liver enzymes are high. ALT is 143. My macro is 130 grams of protein, 114 fat, 25 total carbs. What's happening? Any idea? My health coach says raise my carbs. Well, first of all, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. I am a certified health coach. That is out of scope of practice for a health coach to go over like labs and things like that. I disagree. It has nothing to do with carbs because there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. My suggestion would be if you want to discuss it with someone and you don't have a doctor who really is not really keto person, I would suggest heading on over to Dr. Barry's Mighty Networks thing.
Yeah.
It's the PhD community. For $5, you can join his community. And you can ask questions like this about your labs.
Question. And that's cheaper
there. And that's cheaper than a copay.
Way cheaper than a copay. And that is an actual medical doctor that is going to answer a question and be very
specific. Won't give you medical advice, but he can guide you.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that's why we are supporters for Dr. Barry.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Oh, now it stopped jumping. MD Phillips wants to try Keto Chow Truffles recipe. Here's the recipe. I use the Keto Chow's recipe. I think it works really well. And that is 3 eggs and then a scoop of Keto Chow or a packet. It's an individual serving. And then a cup of mozzarella cheese. You can also use sour cream.
Yeah.
When I use sour cream, I use a little bit less, like about 3/4 of a cup. But any kind of cheese, mozzarella cheese is great because it's like a neutral flavor. It doesn't overwhelm the flavor. But to me, it's the best thing out there and it's super easy. Like anybody can make it. Your 5-year-old can mix up.
Or
truffles.
Rachel. The other thing that I'm really excited about, especially since we have the roller dog recipe, is making our pancakes. The Keto Chow pancakes that we make are really, really good. And then you can roll up the hamburger inside the pancake. Hello.
Sherry said gas stations and convenience markets can be a treasure trove for keto. You never know what you're going to find.
You're so right.
You know what? One of the things, snacks that I like, not snacks, but like food for on the road that I like to make for myself, I discovered in a gas station. You don't see it in a lot of gas stations. I only really ever found them in Circle K's down here. And basically what it is 2 slices of Monterey cheese that has a slice of salami. And then they have vacuum sealed it just like this.
Yeah, where it's nice and tight.
And then you just peel at the top. And it's basically a cheese and salami sandwich. I started making them at home.
Yeah.
And then I have a whole bunch of them. And because what happens is when you vacuum seal it, it smushes the cheese into the salami.
They become one.
And it's like amazing. And so I have found a lot of those kind of things. Like, I mean, this kind of stuff
was inspired by gas station.
Like, is all inspired by gas station food. And it is a great thing. If you have leftover beef or venison or any kind of game, you can do this any kind of, and honestly, the leaner, the better. So, if you have venison, that's a very lean meat. You don't want to use a fatty meat when you make meat sticks because fat goes rancid, which is why they're not as shelf stable. So the more fat, the more you have to stick them in the refrigerator. So these are like only 93% protein.
And it's nice because then nothing goes to waste because we usually, just like hot dogs companies do, we use scraps of the meat that we use to make hot dogs and sausages.
Let's see. Joanna said, I eat almost the same thing every day. Ground beef, egg, sausage, and beginning to incorporate salads again.
Yeah, it's funny, but so what happens when we keep things on like infinite playlists and like the same things over and over again? I do find, Joe, that like we look for variety in life. I think that's why we're scuba diving and RVing and paddleboarding and like doing all of these adventures, because there is like a need in our heart to have variety. Right? We want variety. The problem was I only ever looked for it in the food before.
Right.
I didn't look for it in experiences. I mean, I learned how to loom knit. I started putting puzzles together. Like there's all kinds of things that we've kind of started doing that I never did before, because I'm looking for variety too, but now it's experiences instead of food.
Oh, I just saw a really good question. What happened to it? Mary said, I eat the same vegetables every single day. A half a cup of broccoli, half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of coleslaw with homemade mayo, and then wonderful, flavorful, fatty, yummy meat.
You know what? It's funny. Once you start to get like some of your favorites, like Anthony DiPatria totally got me too with this, because he was eating like our carnivore chicken nuggets, the carnivore chicken nuggets that Joe came up with. If you
Delicious.
They are freaking amazing, and you could eat them all the time.
I ate them like 5 days in a row last week.
Like Michelle, our daughter, makes them in 5-pound batches because they go through.
It doesn't last that long.
It does not last that long. It's really, really good. And so you start to eat something for like a while and you're like, okay. And then you say to yourself, like, it's been 10 days and I've had nothing but carnivore chicken nuggets. Like, I need to try something else. And so just because you feel like you need to have variety, you like make something else. And the whole time you're like, I could be having carnivore chicken nuggets right now, right?
Sonia, is prime rib 0 carb? Example, if I order Texas Roadhouse. Okay, ready? I'm just going to say this because it's going to upset somebody. So I'm going to say it anyway. Technically, all meat has carbs, but it is such an infinite amount, like you can't even measure.
Worry about it.
It's like butter. There's technically a carb in butter. Chris, because he's a nerd, could probably tell you the exact amount off the top of his head, but it's like 0.000004. Beef is the same way because it's a muscle. And muscle has glycogen in it. So technically it has something, but realistically there's no carbs in prime rib. However, when you go to Texas Roadhouse or anywhere else, or even at home, you're using seasonings. There is carbs in the seasonings. Texas Roadhouse, if you look it up on the nutrition fact,
they have their nutrition facts.
There are carbs in whatever seasoning they're using. I think it runs out depending on the size you get. I looked up a 16-ounce prime rib, and I believe it came out to be somewhere around 3 carbs or so based on the seasoning. We actually figured out, it was in a vlog, we figured out exactly what we always get at Texas Roadhouse. And this is going to sound, I'll tell you what we get. It's a perfectly keto meal. We get 16-ounce prime rib with the horseradish sauce.
That stuff is so good.
And then sometimes yes, sometimes no, we put onions and the mushrooms on top with a piece of cheese. And then we get broccoli that has been covered with cheese, sour cream, bacon bits, and butter.
Basically loaded broccoli instead of a loaded baked potato.
And that entire meal is about 19 carbohydrates.
Total.
So, and that's usually our only meal for the day. I'm completely fine with that. The carbs are coming from the cheese, the sour cream, and also from the seasoning in the prime rib. Obviously, onions have some carbs in it, but
horseradish
didn't
sauce.
add a lot. One thing we did find out is that there is gluten in the seasoning that they use in Texas Roadhouse. So if you go in and say, I need gluten-free, or it was gluten-free or soy-free. I think it was actually
only
both.
A few cuts of meat.
It eliminated almost every cut of meat. So you have to tell them, like,
so if you
don't use that kind of stuff.
Celiac disease or like an extreme gluten sensitivity, you need to let probably every restaurant, because it's like, I don't think that Texas Roadhouse is on their own. So I think that that's probably a common practice. So if you have a extreme gluten sensitivity, we're talking like celiac, because we haven't ever had any like bad reaction, you know. But for somebody like our friends that have celiac, that is like non-negotiable. So definitely want to let people know, like your wait staff know, that you can't have any gluten. So like what cuts of meat are available?
Brian wants a 2KK page 4 for what to eat. Something to refer to. We could work on something like that.
That is really cool. Yeah.
Nicholas and Chrissy said, what do you think about lard? I have a keto cookie recipe that calls for it. Lard is
great.
pig fat.
Yeah.
I prefer beef tallow because it's a milder flavor and it doesn't smell as much. But
it smells when you're cooking it.
That's
or
basically
making it.
Lard is beef fat and tallow. Lard is pig fat and tallow is generally beef fat unless it's specified like bison tallow or something like that. But as far as keto, it's a perfectly good fat.
Our grandmas and great grandmas had it right. My grandmother like cooked everything in lard, right?
Mary said, great news because I've been using my carnivore chips as a cracker for my homemade, sorry, Rachel, liverwurst for lunch.
I'm so proud of you, Mary. Like, I need to work. That is like, you are Joe's dream girl because he loves liverwurst. Like, you love it. And so does Anthony. I think John Paul likes it too.
Yeah. Ursula, is all beef tallow the same as grass-fed or is there a better source company than others? Technically, grass-fed would be better. It's more... It's not so much that grass-fed is better. It's you want to make sure you're getting like maybe if you're getting a grain-fed, is it non-GMO grain-fed? Is it something that I'm worrying about? No. You get what you can afford. We have an entire cow that we purchased. We've got about a third of it left. We bought it last year.
I can't believe we still have any more left.
Because we get deals on meat and
just
constantly add stuff in. But in doing that, like here's the thing about grass-fed, grass-finished cattle, it is very lean. Like they took all of the fat from it, they added it into our ground beef, and our ground beef is still like 93.7. Like,
yeah.
I have to add beef fat to everything or butter to everything. Even the briskets and everything is very, very lean. It's not like your normal brisket. So we go to Sam's Club and buy whatever is on sale. Recently, Winn-Dixie had brisket on sale for $2.50 a pound.
Crazy cheap.
I bought 2 of them. And I take all of the fat and I turn it into tallow. In fact, we have a video coming out about that.
Yeah.
Even though there's lots of videos about it, we made another one.
It's a smelly work.
Anthony said they opened a keto restaurant in Royal Palm Beach.
What?
That's our next dinner.
We're doing that for dinner. That's good.
Annette said, I found powdered monk fruit and the scoop is the tiniest thing, about a 16th of a teaspoon. Yes. Oh, actually, Lecanto, I don't know if they still sell it, but they used to sell it. And even that was not pure. It was actually Rachel started using it one day and she put a teaspoon and I'm like, that's way too much.
He was like, that is going to blow your face off, Rachel. And I was like, no, it's fine. And it blew my face off. Yes. Joyce Butler. Hi. I hope I'm going to get to see you this weekend. I miss you so much, girl.
My battery is at 10% because I used it for diving today. By the way, this is actually a really good dive watch. I was pretty shocked by it. I'm not using it as my only dive watch, but it did work very well. Let's see. Annette, I found I read that one.
Joyce says I bloat when I eat vegetables. Yes.
It's because if you're not eating a lot of vegetables,
when you're
missing some of the gut biome, but the more vegetables you eat, the more it comes back. It's actually not a bad thing.
But pushing past that initial,
it takes a little bit.
It takes a little bit of time and it makes it kind of unpleasant for the people you live with, at least in my experience.
Stacy, crazy question. Does anyone do protein shakes ever, either for convenience or for a sweet treat?
We use Keto Chow.
I will tell you that. So we like Keto Chow because in Keto Chow has vitamins and minerals in it. Do I drink protein shakes or recommend protein shakes other than Keto Chow? No. We will have them as an addition. We will use them for ice cream. We will use them for stuff like that. But as for a source of your only source of protein, you need to focus on meat. Use things like Keto Chow as a supplement. I like Keto Chow because you can have, like, for example, if we were running out the door today, I grabbed meat sticks. But if I didn't have that, I would grab a Keto Chow on my way out because I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I ran. I got on the boat. I dove all day. We came home. I took a shower and we headed out the door. I didn't have time to cook. So that's where Keto Chow works.
It's really good. But I like Keto Chow as an ice cream. So that's a little bit more.
It's a great treat.
It is a great treat. So if you're looking for the best keto ice cream, hands down, it's not in the store. It's from Keto Chow, to be honest. And it's not just us. Don't take our word for it. I'm sure that there's plenty of people in the chat that use Keto Chow in the creamy and make ice cream with it. And they'll tell you too, it's It's just so good. And there's such a variety of flavors. So many good ones. I'm trying to think like what are some of the best ice cream ones? Chocolate peanut butter, pistachio. Like raspberry cheesecake, caramel macchiato. There's so many.
Peanut butter and jelly.
So great.
Annabella said, I bought steak in bulk yesterday. I got a $25 kilogram instead of around $34 to $36 a kilogram. I'm so thankful. I'm so excited to have more steak.
That is awesome. Don't you love when you get a deal? It really is like a treasure hunt. I love it.
Shauna said, I don't add any of the gums to my creamy spin. Once on light and 1 tablespoon of water. Respin makes it creamy. Yeah, you don't have to. I think it works well without the Terragum. The Terragum just takes it to a whole nother level. The Terragum, that little tiny bit, an eighth to a quarter of a teaspoon, literally makes it like the old-fashioned hand-churned ice cream.
Yeah.
Juju said, my uncle has a meat roller machine. When we come visit, he throws hot dogs on after breakfast so you can eat whatever you want down by the lake. He ran power down there just for the roller machine.
We have considered purchasing one, and not since keto. I'm talking about for years. We had thought about getting one because it really was. We have a landscaping business. We have for the entirety of us being together. And they always leverage gas station stuff, right? Because that was where you could go to the restroom and that's where you could grab a drink and grab something to eat. And so we've always been in gas stations like our whole lives. And so it was just like, we should just bring this home.
Yeah. Chris said, 2 crazy ketos forget. We're also going to Brasa Grill to do Brazilian barbecue on Thursday night with Peter Ballasad. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
So excited.
I would still give up Brasa Grill for that Utah burger because it's that good. But that Brasa Grill has that chicken in the hot sauce.
Chicken in the hot sauce.
And I feel like the last time we were in Utah, we couldn't have it. I don't know why, but we couldn't.
I was in a band in high school called Chicken in the Hot Sauce.
What? So... Now, that stuff is really, really good. But I know this. We're getting in Wednesday at like 10:30, and we're literally going to get our car and then go right to Utah Burger before we head over to Chris and Miriam's house.
Before you see anything, you're getting a burger.
Getting a Utah Burger.
Burger.
I'm not going to eat on Tuesday just so that I can get that Utah Burger.
Okay.
Chris is putting up the thing. Defense Swiss says, sorry, warm-ups are Trekkies. Forgot about my Aussie lingo for the second there.
Aw.
Looking for any more. Defense was at least this one you don't have to barricade the door with all the furniture like the night at the Super 8. Yeah, for the hotel. That was pretty insane.
I can feel completely safe. There is no people laying in the hallway of this hotel. Like there were people laying in the hallway of the other hotel that we were in. It was a little bit scary.
Annabella said, Rachel, you're beautiful. Please ignore the nasty comments.
Thank you.
Did somebody put nasty comments that I didn't see? Or
well, I have gotten a couple emails.
Oh, that's people hate my voice.
Oh yeah, people hate
say it's Beauty
Joe's
and
voice.
the Beast.
Yeah, people really do not like his voice.
Sonia, I don't know why anyone could hate your face, Rachel.
Aww.
You're one of the most beautiful people. I would agree.
Thank you.
I don't even have to see your face to know that I hear and I feel the love in your words. So I was diving today with my friend you, and we were talking about when Rachel got certified the other day.
I did it. I did not give up.
And so we're in a lake with like 3 to 5 feet of visibility at best.
Yeah.
And Rachel has this thing. She was like, I don't want to do wreck diving. I don't want to do cave diving. I want to be able to shoot straight to the surface, which is you don't want to shoot straight. You're better off to be enclosed. You should have seen her face when she saw me like penetrating wrecks today. So we're underwater. She's pretty much done, and he goes, Rachel, you follow me. Just follow me. And she's like pretty much like touching his leg the entire time.
I am very close to this man.
And all of a sudden, he's like, I'm gonna swim through an airplane. There's a submerged airplane at the bottom of this lake, and I'm gonna swim through it. And he goes, if you want to go around, be my guest. But going around means she has to separate from him. And he said to me today, he's like, going in her face, because he turned around and looked at her like, follow me.
Like, but he was indicating to me, like, I am going through this. You don't have to, but you will have to go over it, and I'll meet you on the other side. And I'm like, I am not leaving you. So he totally leveraged my personality and could see like, okay, some people might be annoyed that I'm like this close to you while we're swimming because I find safety in you. Instead, he used my personality to help me go higher. And I thought that was a really good indicator of a good teacher because I'm like, I am not leaving you. So he went through it and I had to follow him. And so I actually went through an entire plane.
And he's telling me, he's like, her face going in was, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then when she went through, it was like the most joyous thing. He was like, I can hear her like through her regulator, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that.
It was more like,
it's like her personality. Christy Davis, I'm so glad that you had the discussion about how fasting can be helpful and harmful. It really helped me address my mother-in-law when she went to OMAD and made herself sick yesterday. She was restricting too much.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because I'm going to tell you that was a step of faith for us to talk about it, because what some people are so protective of intermittent fasting within the keto space that it's almost like you don't talk about that because that is like a sacred cow. I always find that sacred cows are like always taste the most delicious, right? So it's really important that we not develop legalism within keto. Understand that like everybody's on a different journey. And for some people, what works for them would be super undermining for another person. So I'm really thankful for just an honest discussion about it. Do we use intermittent fasting sometimes and it worked great? Yes. But like for some people, if it is becoming a place of bondage for them, we want people to be free.
That's right.
We want people to live their best life.
Adrian, great question. If fat goes rancid, should I keep my bacon grease tin in the fridge? So yes, bacon grease can go rancid. The best thing to do for bacon grease, what you really want to do is store it in a cool, dry place, preferably in something that is not exposed to light, so like a good tin. And you should really change it out every couple months, depending on. Here's the problem: is the second moisture. If you have pure bacon grease, it won't go bad. But if any water gets in there, that's what starts the rancidity. Is that a word?
I feel
know.
like you just
I made up a word, right?
Okay.
So so if you get one drop of water in there, that's going to start going bad. So if you can store it in the fridge, that's always best. I store mine on the counter, and then every couple of months, I just like toss it and replace it. The bottom line is you can replace your bacon grease with like one good batch of bacon.
One good batch of bacon makes all the difference.
Donna, where do you find that thing, that sausage made for $17? I clicked the link on Amazon. It was $27. So as we said in the video, it's $27 on Amazon, or it is $17 directly from the company plus shipping.
Right. So and it was called Easy Kebab.
Easy Kebab. So now I think you get another deal. So like it's $17 plus shipping, but then you can get deals like buy one, get one free, or I think I got the second one at a discount, or the third one for free. I don't remember. I bought it directly from the company, but the bottom line is I will always encourage you buy from a company over even if the same company is selling it on Amazon. The company makes more money.
Right.
But some people don't like that.
It was funny because I'm interested to go back and see.
Never buy Keto Chow on Amazon.
I had buy it direct from Keto Chow. But I had gone on Instagram because I wanted to make sure like I was showing like, hey, we released a new video today. I put it on Instagram and I thought, well, I'll shout out the company of like Easy Kebab just so like people know what is the device that we use to make it. And they had like 55 followers on Instagram. And I was like, oh, they're like it's a small company, obviously. So I was just like, I wonder if we could maybe like get some attention their way. So they'd probably be excited, like if you message them directly and see if they have any deals.
So back to the Amazon thing. Yeah, if small companies, don't buy from Amazon. If the company is selling it for the same price or even cheaper,
right?
Don't buy it from Amazon. It costs that company a lot of money. For example, Keto Chow actually, they raised the price to sell it on Amazon because some people, I just want to buy it on Amazon.
Which is fine.
You're going to save money buying it directly from Keto Chow. Plus, you can use our link, which saves you more money. And generally, you get it no more than a day later.
They're really fast.
Because they're amazing. Same thing with Redmond Real Salt. Right? You can buy it from Redmond directly. Use our discount code or even somebody else's discount code. Save 15%. Or you can buy it from Amazon. But the problem is you're costing that company more money. So my dive computer, my new dive computer, which only had 8 dives on it, went kaput the other day. I
That's
was
sad.
really pissed. It got like a pressure sensor stuck. I brought it back to the store. I did not get it from my friend, and I just returned it. And I told my friend, this is the one I want. I want an air integrated. And so the one that I want, it's the Perdix 2. And he's like, I can get you the computer, but I can't get the air integration. We've called everywhere. Nobody has it. It's been on back order. I'm like, I found it on Amazon from some local dive company, but it's in stock on Amazon. And he's like, go ahead and buy it from there because I can't get it. But I always give the local retailer first pop. Otherwise, there won't be any local retailers left.
Right, and we need them.
John said, freezing eggs is easy. Crack into a silicone muffin, freeze, and then pop them out and store them in a Ziploc bag.
Nice.
Yes. Joanna said, my daughter has bacterial overgrowth. Should she avoid any food? She can't eat a lot at once. She's normal weight, tall, and thin. Again,
wow.
We're not doctors, nurses,
But I would
professionals, but I would
definitely-
eat the proper human diet.
Yeah, that's probably her best shot.
I think, again, based on what I have learned as a coach and following people like Dr. Barry, meat's going to be your best option.
It's amazing how meat heals.
Let's see. Anything else before?
Hi, Loretta from Maryland.
Keto in the Kingdom. My mother-in-law has used to make handmade biscuits using lard, and was a long time ago. They were incredible.
I'm telling you, lard is where it's at. It's so funny, the stuff that we're bringing back, right? Like beef tallow. I can remember like my grandmother cooking in that as well. And it was just like, well, who's going to use that? That's so like fatty. And it's like, we cook everything in that now. Mary
T said, fun facts. Restaurants used to use beef tallow for deep frying until someone decided saturated fat was bad. That's right.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Buffalo Wild Wings uses beef tallow for their frying. However, little fun fact. The small Buffalo Wild Wings, like the fast food ones, like if you see one like in an airport, they do not. They use canola oil. So make sure I would contact if you are near a small one, ask them what they use.
Right.
The larger ones, the regular restaurants, not the on-the-go versions, are supposed to use tallow, but the small like on-the-go ones, they mostly you find like in restaurants and in airports, things like that. They do not use beef tallow.
Yeah.
Annabella, I think it was, said, I think it was Annabella. I missed it.
Peanut butter and jelly keto shell doesn't actually exist, Joe.
Yes,
Did I miss something?
No. Oh, Keto in the Kingdom. Almost bought duck fat, but I don't know what to do with it, honestly. It's interesting. It's got a unique flavor.
It is very strong.
I made
flavor.
keto chow with it once. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the most amazing thing in the world either.
Yeah. It has a strong taste.
Very strong taste. Let's see. Juju said Mary said it was more like vegans and French fries than anything else. I remember the switch happened, but crazy how things change. So there's been a big issue. That's with Buffalo Wild Wings ongoing. They don't like the fact that Buffalo Wild Wings uses beef tallow because that means they can't eat their French fries. But we're not going to say anything about that. Kathy said, I made keto chow ice cream last night in the Ninja Creamy. My husband and son, non-keto, both loved it. Hubby asked if there was going to be more tonight.
Same. That has been our experience too. We like somebody wants ice cream, somebody comes over to the house, that we serve it up. We serve it up to non-keto people all of the time. And I have never had anybody return the ice cream because they're like, oh, this doesn't taste right. People always think it tastes delicious.
So back to Sherry's peanut butter and jelly. No, technically it doesn't exist.
There's a peanut butter.
But there's peanut butter.
And there's a jelly.
Well, the grape is gone.
Strawberry.
The grape, but you can use strawberry.
Because strawberry.
And mix them, and it does make a really good peanut butter.
Peanut butter and strawberry jelly is where it's at, though.
One day, Miriam's going to give me peanut butter and jelly.
No.
Kathy said, I want keto chow ice cream. I ordered some keto chow, but it hasn't turned into ice cream yet. It needs some help.
Kathy, thank you so much for welcoming me to the underwater world. I love it. Jennifer's got a great question. I think this is actually a good one to finish on. She says, how are you going to spend Quitters Day tomorrow?
Right. Tomorrow.
January 13th is National Quitters Day. You know how we're going to spend that? In community with other people who are in the keto family and are also not quitting. And we want you to join us for that as well. So tomorrow, no matter where you are, know that we love you and we're not quitting. You don't quit. And like Quitter's Day is just going to pass and we're going to continue fighting for health. We are not giving up on our health journey January 13th. Yeah. No way. We are taking this journey all the way to December 31st this year.
Linda said, Dive Masters will push you to overcome your limits. Pretty cool experience, isn't it, Rachel?
It is.
He wouldn't have done that if he didn't think you could do it. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So yeah, you is a really good, he instructs dive instructors. He actually instructs dive instructors who teach ice diving. He's taught some pretty famous people too. What's unique about him is like Rachel hurt her ear on her first open water dive and the next day was supposed to be her boat dive, but that I hurt my ear got her to the point where like, maybe I shouldn't do this. This is a bad idea. I'm going to get hurt, which again, you hurt your ear on your first dive. Everything goes right like this. I can get hurt here. And so she just said like, I can't do this. I can't finish. And he was like, you don't have to finish on the boat. We can finish you in the lake and we can start you off and you can do a whole bunch of beach dives. And when you're ready for the boat, we're going to take you out in the boat. And she got certified, and 2 hours later, she was in the ocean with me.
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing. It's just finding like your community, finding people that will support you and work with you right where you're at. And man, if you're new to keto, know that keto is not a moo-moo. You are going to have to make it your own. What is the best way to do keto? For me, it's Rachel Keto. For Joe, it's Joe Keto. And for you, it's you Keto. You're going to find the right combination, but just know that like, however you're doing your keto, we love you and we support you. And we're super, super proud of you.
Now, as far as diving, Rachel's in trouble because I used to dive a lot before I moved to Florida. And now I've got the bug again. And so now my goal is dive master before the end of the year. And it's possible in Florida because I can do several dives a week.
Right. But that's something that I totally support you.
I'm just picking up all my old education.
It's just going to make me feel safer when we dive together.
So you're going to dive the Lady Luck with me?
I mean, it makes me feel safer if we're just doing a beach dive, friend, like wherever we're at. Like you want to be, I don't mind that you are like overqualified and we do something that is like easier than what your credentials provide, right?
Yeah, Robin said I also don't buy porking good pork rinds on Amazon.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which we actually just found out Sprouts now carries porking good pork rind crumbs.
I actually brought, like they sent us like a big thing of like different seasonings and I'm bringing that to the meetup in case anybody wants to try some of the different seasonings on their meat.
Let's see. Scroll back to the beginning. Somebody said that they used our link. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For Keto Chow. It scrolled too fast. Christy Davis, I'm trying to convince someone to not fast at all until she improves her health and then only do a 16-8 at most. She has a lot of health issues, and I don't think it's healthy for her. Thank you. Yeah. Adrian said, I accidentally left a bottle of Keto Chow in my car for 5 days.
Oh, been there.
Throw that out.
Throw the entire container out. Like, I know that Chris has brought some of those blender bottles back from the dead because they were like Lazarus. They were 4 days beyond, and like they stinketh, right? Yeah. And you're like, they're dead. But like for us, it's really hard for us to try to wash that out. Because if it's been in Joe's truck in South Florida for like a couple of days, it rolls up underneath the seat. You're like, no.
So I'm going to share this. Sorry, Chris. Chris, we're going to get off. It's 9:54. Chris said, I think it's funny that this massive part of your previous life of diving was in stasis until Rachel could join you.
Thank you. Do I just make things better for you?
You do. Well, listen, here's what happens. I was a major diver in New York because I lived on the water. I moved to Florida. I had no idea about warm water diving. I didn't have a dive buddy. I was a little afraid of sharks. There really aren't sharks to worry about in New York, Long Island diving. And my ex had no interest in diving. So I just kind of put it off to the back burner. Rachel was always afraid of it. So I've left it off to the back burner. And then when she kind of got the bug a little bit, which really started when we went to the Springs last year. We went to the Springs and we went to a place called the Devil's Den. And she saw everybody do. We have a vlog for there. And we snorkeled it. The outside air temperature, I think, was 35 degrees, but the spring was 75. And then when she saw people scuba diving, it kind of put the bug in. And that's where I was like, ooh, maybe you can do this. And I got her the present to do the course, but it took her a year to do the online portion.
So don't give up on your loved ones. If you're wanting them to go keto, I know like once you start to have momentum in your own life, you're like, I want everybody I know to change what they're doing and like to progress. But sometimes it just takes time. So like Joe got like, you know, his wish answered. He now has a dive companion, but like it just took time.
Yeah.
It took time.
Well, we are going to get off because
we
have
go see
to
people in
meet
the
up
morning.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we do have Keto Beyond the Couch on Monday live at 10 a.m. We also have the weekly check-in on Monday for everybody who is doing the beef, butter, bacon, and egg course. And again, if you do want to message us, send us emails. Best way is always going to be in Mighty Networks. You can send us an instant message in there, but we don't generally use Facebook Messenger. So if you message us in there and we haven't responded, I apologize. It's just we don't usually check that.
Yeah.
So everybody